I didn't want to be depressed, but anyway, I found my way out of that, and it was through spirituality, definitely.
So then, in your terms, what is spirituality?
That's a good question. Aligning yourself to source, to the universe. Yeah.
And is the source universe God?
Yeah, I think God is a very limiting and triggering kind of term. So more and more, I think universe. I do.
Yeah.
I think universe.
Well, actually, you've had a lot of different experiences, and you've had a lot of different modalities that you kind of studied and stuff. Is there
Yes.
one that you kind of gravitates toward more so than the others in terms of your own healing and how you get out of the situation that you've been? I know you talked about the chanting.
Yeah,
But
chanting
meditation.
definitely helps. Doing things that I absolutely love, like singing and dancing. And I started volunteering at an orphanage to sing and dance because I'm trained in movement and music for children. So definitely, there's nothing spiritual about that, but just doing for others and being joyful, doing something
Yeah.
that raises your vibration,
Yeah.
makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that
because I
helps.
notice if depression is coming on, oh, okay, I've got to exercise. I did this Bollywood dance app last night.
I haven't tried doing that. Yeah.
Oh my!
Because
And
it's so
my
sad.
husband, Joy, took a video of me. I'm like, no, don't show that to anyone. He showed it to Angelic, to my daughter. But yeah, and I felt so good.
Hi, I'm Sharon Landon, and welcome to my show, Old Asian Lady. Today we have a returning guest, Sue DeSimone. She is from Boston, and you've lived in Taiwan for 15 years, and you're
Actually 17.
17 years now. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of time went
Wow,
by
it passes so fast,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So you're a teacher, musician, and actress.
Yeah,
And
sometimes.
yeah. So the last time we were here, we were talking a lot about all the situations that you have gone through. I mean, you have really gone through your share of challenges in life because you had brain surgery for cancer. You also had...
Oh, it wasn't cancer, but it was life-threatening.
Oh, it was life-threatening.
Big
tumor. Tumor in your head there. And then you have returning bouts of depression. You've had alcohol addiction as well as prescription drugs addiction.
Dependency, yeah.
Yeah, dependency.
I didn't abuse them, but
right.
going off them was harrowing.
Really very difficult. Yeah.
So difficult, yeah.
So I remember reading on your profile that kind of struck me as interesting was that you had written that you were a spiritual warrior and with a curious mind. So
yeah.
So I just wanted, what is your meaning when you talk about that?
Well, I'll just go into, I've always been spiritual. Like ever since I was born, I think. I was raised in an Irish Italian Catholic family, very Catholic, go to church every Sunday. And I remember this day actually, in the Catholic Church we have these little prayer cards with a saint or whatever on it. And she said, Susan, she called me Susan, this is for you. Did you know you have a guardian angel? And it was a picture of a little girl with an angel and a prayer on the back. I was like, I do? Wow, that's really cool. So, and then, you know how a lot of children have imaginary friends? I was an only child. So I had an imaginary friend named Benny. And I remember this day specifically because one day I yelled at my grandmother while I was upset. We were coming in through our back door in Massachusetts. And I said, Nana, you stepped on Benny.
Well, a lot of kids have
a lot of
imaginary
kids,
friends.
but I
though.
wonder. Children up to a certain age before they're ruined by the world, they can see.
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
very connected to across the veil. Like I said, I was raised very Catholic. I was in the choir. All my friends in my neighborhood where I grew up, they went to a Catholic school, but I went to Sunday school, which was on Saturday. But I was in the choir, and I love singing hymns. And my friends and I used to just sing on their front steps, sing hymns. And then Jesus Christ Superstar came out, and with the lyrics. So we sang, we would listen to it all day long in the summer and sing. But then, as you do, you start thinking differently as you break away from your family. And my big thing was, well, why can't women become priests? And I started questioning a lot about the church. So I pretty much just stopped going to church, left the church, but always prayed to Jesus. Always, those hymns always ran in my head. And then come to find out, well, it's kind of prescient of me, is that the word? Because then all the scandals came out about the Catholic Church, which was horrible, very sad.
I just did a scene study on doubt, which is a parable.
Oh,
yeah,
I never saw that.
And that was about, during that time, the writer wrote it about the period of time when there was a lot of scandals with Catholics and sexual things.
And poor Sinead O'Connor tearing up did you ever see that on Saturday Night Live? She tore up, she said, fight the real evil, and she tore up a picture of the Pope.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
I was like, wow. Yeah. And then after that, everything came up. So anyway, but going back to high school, though, in my world history class, my freshman year, we studied all religions of the world, and we came upon Buddhism. And I was like immediately drawn to it. I said, this is so cool, and it's so simple. The Eightfold Path, I think, the Four Noble Truths. Yeah. And as I got older, I realized that, and another thing I wanted to share, my project for world history was a Buddhist stupa, which is like their temple. I just had this real connection to Buddhism. And
I think it's a way of life.
It is a way of life.
Is more like a way of life.
But I found many parallels to what Jesus said. Like the kingdom of God is within. Yeah. You reap what you sow. So the golden way, golden rule. Sorry.
Yeah, in the
treat
churches.
others the way you want to be treated. It all made sense to me. But one day in Boston, in my early 20s, so I had moved from Rhode Island to Boston. I was a little lost in my 20s, and this woman came up to me. I was walking down Huntington Ave, and she's like, would you like to come experience something wonderful? And she didn't really tell me. And she pulled me up to this beautiful high-rise apartment, and it was filled with people, like about 50 people, and they were chanting, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And I said, wow, this is really cool. And then I gave her my number, and she came to my house where I was living with roommates, and I set up an altar. And I just thought, I don't know, this is really strange, because my mom always warned me. She's like, Sue, I pray that you don't get trapped in some cult. Like the Moonies were a big thing in the 80s, because I'm very gullible. I am.
You trust people.
I'm very trusting. Yeah. I'm very trusting. Yeah. So I let Buddhism go, but I was always searching, and I used to go listen to Swamis speak, and I volunteered at a wonderful holistic health education center, and I met people like Jerry Jampolsky, started doing a course in miracles. So I met all these spiritual leaders, nutrition, holistic health, for free because I volunteered. So I've always had this curiosity. And my father bought me these workbooks, not workbooks, but like paperback books from Berkeley, all about holistic health. And I was really drawn especially to Native American culture for some reason, and herbs and just natural healing. So yeah, like I said, a curious mind. And I studied all religions. And then I came to the realization that they all say the same thing, that love is the answer.
Yeah.
This is it.
I think that's the basis. I feel like it's the basis of the messages that different religions have. You know,
Yes.
I mean, I grew up not as a Catholic, but I was in Christian Methodist, so we had to do the thing where we had to, you know, do the choir, go to Sunday school, and
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I also started questioning a little bit about the religion when I was a teenager. Because, you know, you see a lot of things at church, I feel like, that people aren't what Christians say they're supposed to be.
Right.
So you see a lot of it, and then I tend to kind of hypocrisy. And I started just thinking about it. And even in my college too, I studied, you know, world religion as well. I didn't get much into Indian religion or the Hinduism or too much of the, I don't know, I touched on Shinto, Japanese, and I touched on a little bit on Buddhism, but it wasn't something that it was still a little bit, you know, foreign to me. So I didn't really, you know, take it to heart.
That's why I didn't really stick to Buddhism then.
Yeah. So when you got a curious mind, and then when all these things happen to you, because oftentimes people, when they've got, you know, major calamities happening in their life or something, they always turn to God. So to try to find a way out. Was this something that you did during the times that you've had all these challenges going on, or?
Oh, definitely. These challenges brought me to my knees. Because I think I told you I ended up in a suicide lockdown after my brain surgery, which was caused by withdrawing cold turkey off of the benzos that they had prescribed. I didn't know that at the time.
Which is totally legal too.
It's totally legal.
Yeah.
And I took it as prescribed. I didn't abuse. I've never abused prescription meds. And I didn't know what was going on. So in the facility, I think I won't go into this too much, but they had a New Testament. I put that under my pillow. I just prayed all the time. But it didn't look like I was getting out anytime soon. And then one day, my husband's best friends came, and they're a Christian, and they prayed with me. They brought a Bible and prayed with me. And then I wrote down on a legal pad, like, how I was going to get out, like what I was going to do when I moved to Taiwan, get a therapist, go for acupuncture, you know, really take care of my body. I wrote this all out. I presented it to the director, and he's like, okay, you can go. Because every day I was panicking. So, and I told him, I found Jesus, you know, but in my head, I was lying. It wasn't cool to say that. So I said, oh, I'm born again. I had a religious revelation or whatever. And that got me out. Because it's very difficult to get out of a suicide lockdown.
Right. So that was just something that you had to do. You felt like, to pretend that you were,
pretend. But now looking back, it was definitely divinely inspired. Yeah. You know, my mom died, and then my father died, and I started drinking a lot. So
when you're talking about the religion and your belief, because religion, organized religion, is different than spirituality.
Right.
And so you were talking about, you know, when you were younger and you saw Benny, which oftentimes people say that really is, you know, it's not really imaginary.
I did have spiritual experiences, though, more concrete, as an adult. Excuse me. In high school, one of my teachers taught us how to meditate. So in my 20s, I went back to that, and I met a friend who gave me this really beautiful purple. It wasn't an amethyst, but she gave me this really beautiful shape that looked like a jewel. And at one point in my 20s, I was so sick, I had to go live with my aunt. I had pneumonia and mononucleosis. Like, I felt like I was dying. I really did. So I meditated one day with this crystal. I went into a deep meditation, and then I had these visions. I saw bubbles and sand, and then I saw these two images. They looked like pennies, but they were switching like really, really fast, switching. And then the scene changed, and I felt I went up, like I saw this surge of
Light or energy?
light. Yeah, and I was just pulled to the astral plane.
Oh,
probably.
interesting. So you were literally, you could see you were in,
I couldn't see myself, but I was just like, oh my God. It was just pulling me to another dimension. And I remember that vividly. I wrote a poem about it too.
oh, okay.
So that was my first like, whoa, okay, I'm onto something.
Yeah, so from there, where did you go? Because that's something quite different. Not very many people experience that.
Well, and then, like I said, my partying lifestyle wasn't, in congruence with a spiritual lifestyle. So I kind of shifted away. And as you know, doing things that are harmful to your body, it lowers your vibration and it brings darkness into your life and fear. So I was very, once I finally did graduate, we moved to Dallas and I just had horrible panic attacks all the time. And I kept thinking, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do with my life? And it just really scared me. After my mother died, that was just a horrible, horrible time for me, losing your mother. We were so close. And I just wanted to know, like, where she was. And she did leave signs. A picture of her and my daughter and her husband fell off a shelf. You probably heard things like this happen. And the lights were flicking on and off. On
Right,
and off,
something's doing something, and
so
you
I was
think
like,
it was your
okay,
mom.
you're around, you're around.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Taiwan, and I, like I said, I ended up drinking a lot. So I was looking for answers. I did, recover in a 12-step program, but I was still looking for answers. I wanted to know about the other side. So I found this YouTube channel called Afterlife TV. And he was like a private investigator who lost his father. And he was from the same area as my mother, so I loved his accent, Boston accent. And I watched. But from, how YouTube, so he would interview people about near-death experiences. And the suggestion was to this channel called Channeling Erik. Which I introduced you to. And I started listening, and Erik was a 21-year-old kid who committed suicide, and his mother was raised atheist, but she was a mess. So she tried different psychics. It took her a while to find one she trusted. But then she found one who just totally explained the whole day when Erik had took his life, everything, his bedroom, the gun, and Elisa, the mother, coming. So she knew she was on to something. So
Right.
I started listening to all those. And I started, Elisa, the mother, would say, Erik pranks. He would do all these crazy pranks to her. And she said, watch out, he may prank you. So one day I was meditating to a 12-step meditation, and it has the serenity prayer. But it really, really disturbed me, because at the end of it, it said, thy will, not mine, be done. And I was a very willful person. And I was just like, I wanted to throw my phone. I'm like, no one's going to take away my will. No. And then, so I said, oh, I'll listen to it again. I'll try. And right before I played the video again, I heard these church bells, and it went bong, 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 bong. And I was like, that's weird. And I played it again, and it wasn't there. So I had a auditory kind of, people would say hallucination, but it wasn't. It was real. So that was really cool. And then Erik started pranking me a lot.
So you knew it was him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could tell, because his symbol is the dragonfly.
Okay.
That he's associated with. And one day I was hiking with my dogs, and I saw a swarm of like 1,000 dragonflies. And usually dragonflies are on their
Yeah,
own.
not too many. Yeah,
So
flies.
that was a sign. And then one day he was playing, we had one of those intercoms, you know, with a screen, and it kept ringing. And but then the screen was blank, and it made these weird sounds, like he was trying to communicate with. I know it sounds woo woo, but I was like, Eric, if that's you, make a high pitched sound, and he did, and then make a low pitched sound, and you know the doorbell was ringing, so I ran down. You remember my house, like 500 stairs down to see if anyone was there. No, and I come up. And then it would ring again. And I ran up and down, up and down. And the song it was playing was for Elise, and his mother's name is. So,
Wow.
and her name is Elise.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was, but okay, I got this on film with him pranking me. I went through a horrible, horrible time, as I have with prescription drugs, but this was one of my Reiki friends does Reiki, and she said, Sue, you know, antidepressants are really bad for your vibration, whatever. So I just stopped taking them. I went cold turkey, stopped taking them. And that was horrible. Oh, it was I got these electric shocks and panic attacks and depression. I couldn't function. And I was in a park with my dogs, and this leaf fell from a tree. I was like watching it. But then the leaf it went down, and then it went this way, and then it went that way, and it went up again. And it kept, and I was like, I got to get this on video. So I have a 3-minute video of this leaf doing that. So I told Elisa about that. She's like, can you write it for the blog? And I never did. So that was pretty cool.
So why do you think that he was pranking you or visiting you? What is the
help
reason?
awaken me and, you know, let me know that there's help on the other side if you ask for it. But it took me quite a while to you know, I still got depressed, and yeah, it took some time.
Yeah, so would you liken it to like Christians that are asking God for help or asking Jesus for help?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one day, I have to tell you this story too. So you know how I went through the benzo withdrawal, but also I got addicted to another substance. But I made up my mind that I was going to stop, and which was really, really hard. So I asked my friend Britt to do Reiki on me. She does distance Reiki.
Energy
You don't have
healing.
to be in the same room. And I had many sessions, and it was like, oh, nice and peaceful, relaxing. But this time I played some music that it's supposed to induce lucid dreaming. So it was a different vibration. And as soon as I started playing it and I closed my eyes, I had this incredible vision. It was a black background, but it was a 3D crown of thorns. I was like, whoa. And then it shifted into these beautiful golden pyramids with sacred geometry and these beautiful designs in the background. And it didn't last too long because I was just like, oh, I should have gone with it more, but whatever. But that was a real
What do you think
real awakening.
Yeah, what do you think the meaning of that was?
Well, I think it was to prepare me for what I was going to go through. Because I don't know if you've heard it said that in your suffering, you will see Jesus. And I just went through personal hell withdrawing from that substance. And it was just really, really, really difficult. But I came through it okay. And I didn't know this, but then when I tried to withdraw from benzos and I went through all of that, I was led to this wonderful coach, who I think I mentioned, and totally turned my life around. That, and then a friend who had been trying to get me into that Nichiren, the Saka guy. I can never say that. Saka Gakkai, Buddhism, the Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. She helped me get a piece of furniture that I set up an altar. And she said, Sue, because I couldn't talk to anyone. I just couldn't function. She said, just say Nam-myoho Renge Kyo for a half hour every day. So I did that for a whole month. And that, in combination with my benzo coach, completely transformed my life. I could function again.
Yeah, so what was it about that that made you change your life? Because all these times that you tried different things or tried to get out of, all the other challenges that you had, it was always on and off, on and off. What was it about that
Yeah.
one particularly?
Oh, it was the combination. And Coach Dave Powers is his name. You can find him on the internet. He has a very practical way, like cognitive behavior therapy, calming your limbic system, your flight or fright. But it was definitely a combination. It was a combination of things that just changed me in so many ways. And I hadn't left the house for 2 months, but I got invited to, our friend Constance, she's married to a very famous singer, Joe Adjan. And I went to his show and I was feeling a little shaky because you get agoraphobic, but I made it okay. And after that, his music, music's a big part of my life. That was very healing for me. I brought a friend who kind of translated, so that was fun. But that was like, oh, I can do this. I can leave my house now and not have panic attacks. So that was the way. But it was and I also found a therapist. So it wasn't one thing, but definitely the chanting. If you want to go,
It makes you focus on one thing and not other,
not only
outside thoughts.
It's raising your frequency. Yeah. Because when you're in your fear and your darkness and in depression, woe is me. When I went to a Buddhist meeting, one of the men there, leaders, whatever, said the minute that you agreed with Tina, my friend, to do the chanting every day, that was your moment of enlightenment. Okay. So I had some hope. I was like, because I was at my wit's end. I'm like, I just don't know what to do, but I can't function like this. And I refuse to live like this. I want to be happy. I want a fulfilled life. But it's changed me in so many ways, because when I do chant, one of the things I tell myself, I say universe instead of God. I say, whenever I can be of service, please let me know. Please lead me to how I can help others. Because, there's a famous Bob Dylan song called "You Got to Serve Somebody." It may be the devil or it may be the Lord. And really, the devil to me is fear and darkness, and the Lord is love. So, you've got to serve the devil or the Lord. And so I just find myself just helping people, and I did a fundraiser. Not that I want any
give
recognition, but
out
that is the key to happiness.
Yeah.
Is when I was in my addictions and depression, I was so contracted and selfish, really. Like my husband used to say, oh, just because you have the ability, what if you had to go to work, just because you don't have to work, you have this luxury of being depressed. So, yeah, I didn't want to be depressed, but anyway, I found my way out of that, and it was through spirituality, definitely.
So then, in your terms, what is spirituality?
That's a good question. Aligning yourself to source, to the universe. Yeah.
And is the source universe God?
Yeah, I think God is a very limiting and triggering kind of term. So more and more, I think universe. I do. Yeah. I think universe. That works better for me.
And because I feel like I've done a lot of exploration as well into spirituality and different things that are not organized religion per se. And I remember when I first came here back to Taiwan, and I was brought up as Christian, as I said. The first time that I had to go with my family to do a visit my biological parents' grave, and they're Buddhists here.
Okay.
And I remember that I was so uncomfortable because I needed to do the bowing and I wasn't
bye-bye.
sure that with the upbringing I had that I was, doing the right thing. Because when you grow up as a Christian, a lot of other religions that are out there, it's like there's the best way, but Christianity is that if you don't believe in Jesus or accept him as your savior, then you're damned, or you're not saved. And so I did it, but I felt uncomfortable doing it. But I decided in my way, because I was questioning the people's beliefs, that everybody has their own beliefs. Every country has their own God, or the way they look at things, and that
Right.
every country's people can be good or bad. It doesn't matter which religion that you are in.
That's
So
right.
while I'm not a super practicing Christian, going to church, all the stuff, or I'm not, being in Taiwan, I'm not Buddhist or anything like that, I do also accept that there is a higher God or a higher being
Yes.
that all these religions fit
Connect
under.
Exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really hard to talk about these kind of things, because most people, especially friends that are Christian and that believe in other stuff, they look at you like,
I know.
you're what are you talking about?
I know.
You're saying the wrong things. But I also feel like there's other things out there. I've never had the real experience of having an imaginary friend. I've never really seen that. But in my acting work, we have to do a lot of imagination, creative, imagination. So, it's I don't know why I never saw one as a kid. I think maybe it wasn't. I wasn't open to see, because oftentimes you have to be in a frame of mind or in a situation to be able to see or
right.
to
It's not something you can force.
yeah.
That's why it always takes me by surprise.
So do things so does your daily life include a lot of different, do you meditate and chant every day?
Yeah,
pretty
I'm
much,
not very
or-
disciplined about my chanting, but when I chant, I feel really good. And another thing that's important that both the 12-step programs talk about and Coach Powers is gratitude. So I find myself, being grateful more. That's
Yeah.
really, really important.
Yeah, because I think everybody in our life, we go through our life and there's so much shit going on sometimes, and I like the challenges that you've had. How many people in this world have had, challenges or worse maybe, or whatever it is. And we tend to kind of get into this mode where, like you said, you really withdrew and you went into yourself, and not being grateful that, oh yeah, I'm alive, or I have food on my table, or I have a family that loves me, or I have all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I think, I feel like even saying the word gratitude kind of brings it a lightness or energy about it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to meditate, because basically,
do you?
I try to meditate every day, and it's not about meditating or praying to anything specific, God or anything like that, but it's really trying to connect and quiet the
Mind.
the thoughts that we have all the time. that come in and
the
out.
way I learned from Muji is just you don't push those thoughts away. You just let them go, like clouds through the sky.
Yeah. So it's just the imagination again.
It takes practice. That's why they call it a practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So aside from
Can I tell you one more?
Sure.
Okay. I was visiting my daughter in London in 2019. And I was scheduled to go to the airport. But when I got to the airport, I got my Uber. Her boyfriend helped with my bag. When I got to the airport, when I closed the Uber door, I didn't have my passport. I lost it. And we checked in the Uber, and I think he may have kept it. But anyway, so
the Uber guy?
Home, yeah.
Oh.
So I had to go home, to her apartment, and I went to the American Embassy in London, which was fantastic. I got my passport the same day, scheduled, so it was a Monday when I lost it, Tuesday when I got my replacement, and I scheduled to leave on the next day, Wednesday. And I did not want to leave my daughter. She lives so far away. So I left, of course, packing to the very last minute. And they're like, Sue, your Uber's here. Actually, her boyfriend wasn't even there. He was working. So it was just me and Angelic at this big suitcase, all this shopping that I did for Christmas presents. And I said, okay. And I ran down the stairs she had my suitcase, and I had all these bags. But my sneaker caught on the edge of a stair. And I don't know what happened, but I fell down the stairs, but I didn't know it at the time. I was completely disoriented, like taken out of my body. But I felt this force, like this slowing me down. I could actually feel it. And if you're running downstairs, I'm not good at physics, but if you're running at this angle downward, the velocity is supposed to speed up.
Momentum. Exactly.
So
gravity, whatever.
It slowed me down. I didn't know what was going on until my forehead hit, a corner of a wall, and Anjali's at the top of the chair saying, "Mom, are you okay?" I'm like, and I sat up. Yeah, I'm fine. I guess I got a bloody nose or something. And then I sat down, and all this blood came out. So, but I could have broken my neck.
Right.
So that was definitely an angelic force. It definitely was.
Yeah.
Because I was totally disoriented. I had no idea. I can't explain it, but I wasn't like I don't know where I was, but I definitely felt like slow motion.
Wow.
And I was rushed to the hospital, and they stitched me up, and I had 13 stitches, and the nurse practitioner told me, he said, "I didn't want to tell you this when you came in, but I could see your scalp."
Oh my gosh.
It was really bad. So here she goes again.
I feel like there's stories about this a lot in the news. People talk about when people have a car accident or something like that, and there's only the mom and the kid there, and they end up having this, and the kid is trapped in the car or something, and the mom uses, not even just a mom maybe, but they use the super strength to lift up the car. So there's definitely something I feel out there that is not necessarily mainstream thought in terms of religion and stuff.
And there are earth angels who save people. Like they're human, but they're connected to the angelic realm. And
there's even like TV shows about the earth angel. I don't know, it's on Netflix or something like
really?
that. I think so. A few years ago, I don't know if it's still on. But I myself actually had, I would say 2 or 3 experiences, but the one that I really think for sure that was something that, I don't know how it happened, and that the fact that I'm so lucky to be still alive, because I was hiking one day up Yangmingshan. And the day was really cloudy once we got up to the mountain, and it was wet and it was slippery, and just the weather had turned bad, and so we were trying to get down the mountain as fast as that we could. And so we were climbing down this one rock face. There was a big rock there. I just come down. I was just climbing down from the rock, and there were some ropes that the government, Taiwan government is really good about that. You know, they maintain a lot of the trails. I think some of it are the hikers too.
Yeah.
They maintain the
I've used
trails.
those ropes.
Yeah, and so there was a rope that I had to grabbed onto from that rock to the next rock. And there's the mountain, the cliff right there, right? And so when I had grabbed the rope that I grabbed onto, it snapped. It totally snapped in half. It was one of the old ropes. I don't know why I grabbed that one, but I kind of fell back. And if my foot, and I'm talking outside of the mountain, if my foot had not been stuck up to my leg into the bush that was growing on the side of the mountain, I would have been gone. So I feel in my heart that there was earth angel, or not an earth angel, or an angel,
Yeah.
my guardian angel, you know, that saved me. So
Absolutely.
So yeah, and you know, it's hard to explain to people that don't really understand it or don't believe in things like that.
Yeah.
But that curious mind thing that was in your bio, I feel that's me too, because not everything can be explained by science, you know.
Right.
It isn't just all science, and it isn't all just facts, and it isn't all things that we can see in front of our face.
Right.
Yeah.
And another experience I have so many. At our house, where Erik was making me run up and down, I was smoking a cigarette. I do smoke. It's terrible. I was smoking a cigarette on our patio overlooking the pool at night, you know, just relaxing. And I saw this, it looked like a comet go by. So I don't know if that was him, but
Right in front of your
I've
face,
never,
you mean?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was going over the pool.
Okay.
So it was like a ball, but it had like light, like an orb. You know, people don't know about orbs, but yeah. So that was another experience. So you can't explain that. But if you try to a non-believer, they're like, oh, it's in your imagination, you know. But
So
we all have our own path. You know?
Yeah. So then do you feel that, well, actually you've had a lot of different experiences, and you've had a lot of different modalities that you kind of studied and stuff. Is there one that you kind of gravitates toward more so than the others in terms of your own healing and how you get out of the situation that you've been? I know you talked about the chanting.
Yeah, chanting
meditation
definitely helps. Doing things that I absolutely love, like singing and dancing. And I started volunteering at an orphanage to sing and dance, because I'm trained in movement and music for children. So definitely there's nothing spiritual about that, but just doing for others and being joyful, doing something that raises your vibration, you know, makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Because I notice if depression is coming on, oh, okay, I've got to exercise. You know, I did this Bollywood dance app last night.
I haven't tried doing that. Yeah.
Oh my! And
it's so
my
sad.
husband, Joy, took a video of me. I'm like, no, don't show that to anyone. He showed it to Angelic, to my daughter. But yeah, and I felt so good because the other day I was like really cranky, and I yelled at my mother-in-law, which is not like me. I'm usually very patient. So I'm like, oh, okay, I need to work on myself. So every day, you know, I walk in nature. I think nature is very healing. Nature and music and chanting, those are and friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes too is that as long as you're aware of, because when people are depressed or you're in a funk, you don't really notice anything. You know, you just only notice you're stuck here, you're negative, and all this other kind of stuff. But once you start being a little bit aware, like you say now, you can tell if you're starting to go, and then you do something like going to listen to music or doing dancing or doing something that makes
Lifts
you
your
feel,
spirits.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's what it does.
I think
Lifts your
that's
spirits. You don't even
really
have to say
important.
vibration, even though we are all vibration. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so in terms of your own recovery and the things that have plagued your life for so long, where do you feel that you are at in the healing level or
Um, yeah, since I no longer follow the 12-step path because it didn't really resonate. Um, I think it's wrong to say, "Oh, I'm healed, I'm cured." You know, I would never say that.
yeah,
But I definitely have learned to live in the moment, in the present. For me, this is just me. I think that the 12 steps they kind of linger in the past too much. It was too triggering for me.
oh, because it made you always makes you think about what was happening
Yeah,
before
because you
and
have
how
to
you're
go
supposed
through
to.
all these steps and make a list of everything you've done wrong since you were born, and
Oh,
then make amends with people. And it's like it's too much work. And God's already source is already going to judge us because I've watched enough near-death experiences to know that we see our whole life and we experience how we have made others feel. So no, I don't need that. So, yeah, just staying present, being loving, and not praying for myself. Praying, I don't know if you've heard of this on Linda G's channel, the most benevolent outcome.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't get attached to anything.
yeah,
You know, like even all this bad news going on in the world, it
yeah,
makes me sad. But before I would get,
yeah. You
and
get
I
sunk and
would go
mired in.
online and, you know,
Yeah,
I don't do that anymore. It's like I'm watching a movie, and I feel for these people. And when I chant, I pray for peace, but I'm not attached to it. It's like I'm just observing because this is all I don't know, simulation. I wouldn't go that far, but it is a play, like Shakespeare said. The world's a play,
all the world's a play.
and we are
Yeah,
merely players.
and we are merely players. You're right.
Yes. So yeah, being
All right.
present. That's how I am in recovery, but being present.
Right. Well, that's good. And I feel like being present and do you feel like I mean, what do you see in the future in terms of where you're going to be? Or, I mean, I know you talk about present, but are you imagining any time where, say, you are 5 years from now?
Yeah,
Or
I have started writing a series of essays about my life. I feel drawn to helping others, so my coach is going to have a program to train other people, to coach other people going through benzo withdrawal, and it can be used for any kind of withdrawal. I think
Right.
any kind of. So I would like to do something like that.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
something in
interesting.
healing and writing. Yeah,
Yeah.
a podcast maybe. Anjali, my daughter, says, "Mom, you should start a TikTok of all your stories."
I know. I think the writing is really good because it's interesting. We have another guest that is, on her own journey as well, and writing is a big thing. Putting down what. Maybe it's because when you put words down on paper, it lets go of a lot of things that are, been stuck in your head for so long,
Yes,
going
it's
back
very
and forth and
cathartic.
stuff. Yeah. So what type of? I mean, when are we going to be expecting a book? I mean, have you already got it sort of already
I
outlined or
do have an
anything?
outline. Yeah, somewhere. Somewhere.
Oh, actually, I know somebody else that was just telling me recently that they started writing a book, and it's something that she's doing because she always wanted to do that when she was younger, but because of life circumstances or her journey or her path, it was kind of suppressed. But now she feels that she's able to write, and I think that's a freeing
great.
thing.
Yeah, writing. All writers. I've been reading about writers. Like what they go through. It's not easy. That's for sure.
No,
And some
no,
people
yeah.
they have a love. I definitely have a love-hate thing with it. And it does take a tremendous amount of discipline, which I don't have. But I
Keep
find,
with the meditation, it'll come.
I find that when I write, I really get into it. So it's just getting there and the practice of writing every day.
Well, we're going to look forward to your book coming out, or the poems or whatever essays maybe that you're going to be writing, and let us know about it.
Thanks.
And thank you so much for coming by again to talk about
you for having
this
me
aspect.
Again. Yeah. Wow. I feel very, very special.
No, well, just sharing people's journeys and sharing their stories, however it may be, and hopefully
Sure.
somebody's going to resonate and
I really
go from
hope
there.
so.
Yeah.
I feel drawn to helping people through my experiences.
Okay, thanks. So thank you for stopping by today, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.